At least 80% of airline traffic in Africa comes from beyond the continent. African airlines control the remaining 20%. Several issues are to blame for this.
Fortunately, I think we've had a lost opportunity in the last couple of years while, for example, the liberalisation has not taken off as where it should. We've seen international carriers, particularly from the Europe, EU and from the Gulf, come into Africa and do extremely well. Africa is way behind the curve.
So what exactly needs to be done to strengthen the industry in Africa?
My big priority is to ensure that within government there's an alignment of strategies for a particular state so that you've got your tourism, transport, trade departments all aligned with a single strategy of developing firstly the country and the infrastructure, and aviation is a huge enabler of being able to develop that.
Some regions on the continent are already getting it right.
The regions in Africa that have the good records of safety are probably the Southern African and the East African and Northern African. From a perspective of profitability and performance, the East African airlines I think are doing very well. You've got Ethiopian Airlines doing incredibly well and growing very fast. Kenya Airways as well is doing very well. In Southern Africa we have mixed fortunes at the moment.
Over the next 5 years, what needs to be done?
Africa needs to take some drastic steps in terms of its ability to compete internationally. It has to find a way to liberalize. It has to get, and I look to governments as well as industry to show leadership in that area.
To open African skies, political and business will is needed for African carriers to flourish in a global environment. Dozo Kumalo, Johannesburg.
Know more. eNCA.com